Ooh, I'm just going to throw this clip in. You're probably watching this because you want to make the AK magazine pouch. And stop that, you. Get your nose out of there. Anyway, but this is some stuff I'm working on. I'm working on this is my popular 1022 slash Heritage Rough Rider revolver cylinder and magazine pouch. So a 1022 standard 10 round magazine will fit in this, and also a Heritage Rough Rider 22 spare magazine will fit in this. And I've sold quite a few of these. These are really popular. I have them in different colors with different thread colors. And I call it thread. It's really like bonded nylon cord. That's not just thread that you're going to pick up at Walmart. So that's a bonded nylon cord, and very sturdy. It'll give you years of use. And in this one, I decided to try and use some just rivets. And the issue I have with the just rivets, part is that these rivets can rub against the cylinder. So maybe not so much on a 1022 magazine because they're plastic, but a Heritage Rough Rider 22 cylinder is metal, and it's got a bluing on it. So, or I'm not sure if it's bluing or some other coating, but it's got a coating on it, and I would hate for these rivets to rub up against the cylinder and cause a mark. But that's up to the customer. I mean, if you like rivets rather than bonded nylon cord, I'll have those out soon. And also for the Remington New Model Army spare cylinder holder. Now I have been using a snap, and I do have some of the studs. The stud is just that. It's a little stud that sticks out, and then there's just a hole on this cover, so there's no snap. And if you want those, I'm going to have a couple of those out. They're more expensive because that stud is expensive, and you really have to sew again, because the metal on one of those studs is protruding. I have to sew a leather patch behind the stud so that it doesn't mar up the cylinder. So they're about 10 bucks more. But you should see those dropping soon, probably next week, because I got some belts I'm working on. If you watched my last video, I'm doing a lot of belts. And then also, this will be dropping next week. You know, if one spare 1022 magazine holder is good, then how about a double? This is the double 1022 magazine holder, or double Heritage Rough Rider 22 cylinder, whatever you want to put in there. I don't know, you can put fishing lures in there, doesn't really matter. But this gives you two pouches for some extra storage on one belt loop, and this will be a closed belt loop, so you won't be able to unsnap it. At this time, I may make another one. I'm just working on the final construction for the back so that you can fit a up to a 2-inch belt with this. And also, this has a little more flex in it that I would like. But I'll be working on that, and this too will probably drop next weekend. Just a quick update. Now on to the AK-47 magazine pouch. Hello friends and neighbors. Behind in my videos, and last week I figured out that Instagram had banhammered me, so I am officially off Instagram, and I have no idea why. when I signed into Instagram, there was a message saying that I had violated the community guidelines. So I don't know what that means, and of course there's nobody you can contact or call, or and quite frankly I wasn't interested in appealing their decision, because anybody who bans you without contacting you for some, you know, obscure community guidelines violation just isn't a platform I want to be on. And that brings me to another issue, is that you may be watching this on YouTube, but YouTube is going to be a secondary for me. If you want to catch all my videos, I will be on Rumble as BigChiefLeatherworks. And there's not really some, you know, conspiracy theory thing behind that. It's just that obviously I make quite a few things for the gun community, and YouTube and Instagram, Facebook are cracking down on that. They are not fans of your Second Amendment rights and would like to deprive you of them, and that's not okay with me. So if you're looking for me, look for me on Rumble. I'm still BigChiefLeatherworks on Rumble, and I'll probably try and put a link in the description. And also look for me as BigChiefLeatherworks on Telegram. I think that's it. Telegram, I don't know. But I know others are on there, and so I'm going to head on over there, because I don't want to get banned for who knows what. Who knows why I was banned. Maybe somebody complained, maybe I, you know, said something not in keeping with whatever their values are on Instagram. I also made a Pinterest post the other day, and I'm going to try and get more on Pinterest. So that's enough of my social media. So what I want to get at today is that I've been behind in making the pattern for this. Now this is the AK-47 5 magazine pouch, and what I want to do is reduce this. So I finally decided that what I really wanted to do was reduce this to a 2 magazine pouch. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these manila folders. I like to use these as a pattern making tool, because if I make this out of leather, even at 5 ounce, and I make a mistake, I'm going to cost myself a lot of money. So let me get started, and I'll measure this, and I'll show you how I'm going to do it. And then if you want to, you can make your own. And you can make it for 3 magazines, 4 magazines. You can make, heck, you can make this whole thing yourself once I show you how to do the pattern. So stay tuned. Let's get after that. So when we look at this pouch all across the back, we see that it looks like one long piece of material that was rolled over, and then the sides sewn on it, with the pouches sewn on the sides. And I'd like to do that too. I'm not looking to make more work for myself. And then inside it has full length separators. You can see, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I would probably just need 1 separator if I'm going to make a 2 magazine pouch. So again, I mean, I look at that and I'm like, well, maybe I should make a 3 magazine pouch. So I'm still undecided. We'll see how that goes. But this is 1 single piece of material, and I'm going to get a measurement for that right now. And I need both hands, so I'm going to free up my hands. So doing the measurement from this part right here, going under and then around to the front, it comes out to about 27 inches. So that's going to be our length of our first piece, is 27 inches. And then I don't think I'll have to use a couple of these to get 27 inches, but we'll draw that out in just a minute. Right now I'm just going to annotate my measurement over here. So it's 27 inches long. And now I'm going to get the side-to-side measurement of the two cells right here. And of course I'm going to give myself some extra room because, as you can see, these are gusseted in and sewn. And so I'll also have to have a little bit over this way so I can make that same gusset like this on this side. So don't go too short on your side-to-side measurement, whether you're doing 2, 3, or 4, or whatever, however many magazines are going to fit in there. You're still going to have to allow for this sewn gusset right here. Alright, so let me get that measurement. So for a 2-cell holder, I'm going to go about 4 inches, which gives me plenty of oops space. But if I wanted to do a 3-cell, then I would go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches past the third line here, because this is where the interior divider is sewn. So it really gives you a great way to measure this. So for a 3-cell, it's going to be about 5 inches. I would go 5.5. Like I said, you want to give yourself some fudge room for these gussets. So about 5.5. And for me, I'm only going to do a 2-cell, 2-magazine holder. So I'm going to go 4 inches. Okay, and that's pretty easy. I mean, thankfully it's one piece, you know. It's one piece of, it'll be one piece of leather. And that'll bring us to our pouches. So the way I do my measurement on pouches is I'll tuck my measuring tape in here and then go all the way around to the other side and get that width measurement, and then from the top here all the way to the bottom I'll get that length measurement, and that'll be modified a little bit because I'm gonna have to make this type of top, this type of cover. The pouch itself, you'll see when I make it, you have to cut out little squares so these two, this seam will match. And I'm not going to do this piping. I don't know what their reasoning is for the piping, but yeah, that's a little fancy for me. So I will not be doing the piping on the bottom or on the cover. If you're good with sewing and you're comfortable making that little piping on there, you know, knock yourself out. But I don't have that kind of time, number one, and number two, I don't think I can sew that well to get that piping on there. But I will be using a similar type closure, and I like this, that this piece of leather is separate to do the opening and closing of the pouch. and I suspect that's done because gloved fingers, you know, have a hard time manipulating small closures. So let me get the measurements for this. So there's a shot of the oiler that fits in there, and I also had some patches in there. So these are, you know, you can find these on eBay and Gunbroker, places like that, where they just sell like surplus. I believe these are Soviet oilers, so and from a lot of the old Eastern Bloc countries, you can find these as surplus. So shouldn't be too hard to find that. And then I made a mistake. I'm not going to measure from the top of here. I'm going to measure from the top of this pouch, and then I'll measure the cover separately. So let's go from the top right here to the bottom, and then this will go from the bottom of this cover to the top, and then measure the sides on that too. And that's how we'll get that. We'll get the cover and the pouch separate. And if you don't want to put a, you know, if it's too much for you, you don't want to put a cover on here, you don't have to. You could have the oiler exposed. That's entirely up to you. If you don't want to, you know, make it extra fancy with that cover on it. I would recommend at least some kind of cover, but again, that's up to you. So let me get those measurements. Okay, so as you can see here, I got the pouch. First, I have the pouch measurements. It was 4.5 in length, 5.5 in width, and once again, I'm always adding a little bit of fudge factor to these numbers, so that when I sew it up, I'm left with a little more material that I can trim. You can always, oh, what's that saying? You can always remove, but you can't add. So I do a little fudge factor. And then the cover is 5.5 wide and 3.5 long. All right, and then we'll get into this, the rest of this, in another video. Thanks for watching.